Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and him. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes.
No computers.
No computers at all, right? Yeah, this is what happens when we take a break. Everything about our process.
Bro, you want to know what's really bad about it?
What?
I looked this at our last show. It's been sitting here since.
It's still probably good.
It's got to be good. It's going to have to be.
I mean, you might start transforming as soon as you take a sip.
I'm like,
Yo, if you make that sound, I'm done, bro. I'm walking off the set.
Just out of nowhere.
Oh my gosh. All right. So everything that we are going to be reading is going to be from our cell phones. So if it's slowed down at any point in time to a screeching halt, we apologize ahead of time.
But just taking a retro back to the first show.
Yes, bro. Yes, exactly. But this is why we don't take breaks.
I know.
This is exactly why. So,
what up, Tommy? What up, Tom?
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Spin.
Uh-oh. He already got his notes. Spin got notes. I know he does notes for the show.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He's got questions ready to try and make one of us rage out on.
He's
the
like, show. Okay, that's one point. Let me go my archives.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm ready for you, Spin.
Oh my gosh. All right. So you want to just start with stuff we heard? You want to?
I mean, I don't have a lot of stuff, but I got personal stuff.
Oh, let's go personal stuff. How was your fourth, by the way?
That's my personal stuff. I'm getting old.
Oh,
I'm getting old. So
what'd you end up doing?
Oh, I went to mom's house, got on the grill, but you know how you be about 30, 40 years old, you get on that grill, it's much different.
Yeah.
You got to be meticulous. Like, okay, see, I got to have my stuff lined up right here. I got my hickory. Where my hickory charcoal? Okay. What meat do I put on first? Let me look here. Let me think.
Oh, you was charcoal grilling?
Oh, yeah. That's all I do.
Okay.
I don't do nothing else.
I got a griddle.
I don't even know how to use that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do the air fryer. I don't know how to do no propane. None of that. I'm all out there with the coal and the soot. And yeah, I'm out there doing it.
The coal and the soot.
And I'm like looking at the fire. I'm like, okay, it's orange. I'm about to pour some more on there. Okay, we're good. You line everything up just right. You got to line it just right. Yeah, it's crazy. So I was out there on Friday. I did chicken legs. I did what did I do? Sausage. I promised my mom I wasn't gonna do that much this time. So I just did like 4 different kinds of things this time.
Okay.
Thursday night after I got off work, I went home and made macaroni and cheese. So yeah, I picked that up and took it to mom's after the fact. Then I went over there again because T had some chicken and she said, you know what? Did we cook it yet? I'm like, no. Oh, I'm gonna put some, I'm gonna season it. If you want to throw it on the grill, I'm like, I was there yesterday, but fine. So we go back and forth, like, for 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, are we gonna go? Are we gonna put another on the go or oven? We don't know.
Right.
So about 7 o'clock, let's just go put it on the grill. Wait, I ain't got no charcoal. I'm like in overdrive because I'm like, I only got the hickory ones. That's expensive, and I don't know how it burns by itself.
This is a whole process.
This is in my mom. Like,
where is Steve Noble when you need him?
I don't want him here because he's like, you're wrong. Everything you did was not right. I was thinking that I was like, Steve. Okay, I'm gonna tell the story. But then after I get done with T's chicken, here comes my mom. I got some burger patties in the freezer. She brings the patties out. You're not even how do we thaw it out.
Oh,
so I'm like breaking them up.
Yeah.
We won't buy a patty. I don't know why she bought patties this time. We usually just buy the meat and make our own.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but so she comes out and she brings salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm. I'm
like, where the hell's the rest of the seasoning?
Right, you're gonna need some more than that.
She's like, no, I don't. I'm gonna put some sauce on this. She's on the grill. She don't even grill. I'm like, you're gonna burn yourself. You're gonna burn. That one's frozen. I said, I'm not putting my name on this. I am not putting my stamp of approval on none of this. So
see I think that's part of the reason why I wanted the griddle, like, cause it's a 4-burner griddle top grill, right? It's propane, and you can cook breakfast foods on it. You can cook whatever, like
cracking.
Right. That's why I like that, because if it like with a frozen patty, you just throw it right on there the same way you would frying pan. But that grill with the charcoal and all the stuff you talking about, I could never, bro.
I did it.
I'm terrible at that.
Well, we got to get a beer. We got to get together. We're going to do this thing.
Okay.
Everything's better with beer.
Right.
And my mom, she made a point. You know that patty was good, right? I'm like, stop it. Stop trying to make a point. Okay, I get it. But still, I don't want to hear that was a success.
Frozen beef patty, right. Did you right?
I'm like, did you put it in the microwave afterwards? Make sure it's good? Okay, you're still alive, so we're good. Kev said charcoal or nothing. Yeah.
Oh, come on, Kev.
Gotta have it.
All right. I'll take the L. Look, I don't care. I know I've had my eyebrows singed off from working with a charcoal grill. Never again.
I did that a different way. I don't really say.
I lost eyelashes over that. I'm not doing it again.
Okay, I'll tell the story. We're all family. I was younger.
Okay.
And I decided that it was a good idea to light a cigar on a gas stove.
Oh.
While I was a little bit drunk.
Okay. That explains a little bit.
Yeah, it was crunchy than a mofo up here. I was like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Oh God. How am I gonna explain my eyebrows? I didn't wash my face above my eyes for about a week.
It's gonna grow back in. Right. It's gonna grow back in.
I don't know. I'm trying to leave a little way.
Oh, jeez.
But luckily, I didn't lose the eyebrows. I just couldn't touch them for a while. Yeah, so I won't be doing that anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, bro. All right. So look, my fourth, I worked first of all. No days off, like Bill Belichick said.
Mm-hmm.
But we did. We usually do fireworks on the 3rd, where around the area we stay at, and so we got a really, really nice spot, in some shade, and this is, I think it was 78, 79 degrees that day. And so we get to this spot and it's beautiful. Like, it's warm. We're in the shade. Sun ain't beaming, beating down on us. Usually we park across the street from where the fireworks come up in this little small parking lot. And then we just chill in the back of the truck with the,
Mm-hmm.
with the door open, and, we play games and stuff like that and chill that way. Well, this time, we brought a football. We brought, these paddles and this little wiffle ball,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever it is, and a few other things, like some goldfish cards and stuff. And this was a really nice, relaxed, 4th, I guess, so to speak. And this was probably the first time that I really felt like peaceful about it. You know what I mean? Like, usually when we're in the car, everybody's kind of cramped. We're not, like my youngest son wants to go run around and play. Well, he got a chance to do that today, or not today, last week. You know what I'm saying? We were right near the playground that was, right off the side of the field. And, I played catch with him a little bit. And my daughter was just chilling. She got to talk to her, a few of her friends. My oldest son, I'm sorry, our producer here saw some people he knew.
Yes.
Right. So it was a really nice, peaceful, like, it just felt more like a moment than years past have been. What I didn't miss, though, or I guess what I did miss, because it was kind of funny, the drama of it all.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Family Dollar right across the street from where we watch the fireworks at, right? And they got a new manager last year. And what the funniest part about all this to me is, like, this dude literally will come stand in the parking lot and tell you can't park in there because he needs space for the customers.
Right.
And what's even funnier about that is the convenience store that's across the street, like diagonal from that, and the Tim Hortons that's right there, both did the same thing this year. They didn't do that last year. They never did that any year before this dude started doing it.
He set the marker.
Right.
He said, it's like, yo, it works.
Right.
Let's do it.
But and this guy was literally calling the police and telling them to have the police come and tell people to move out of the parking lot last year. So the drama of it all was interesting. You know what I mean? It was interesting to watch and all that kind of stuff, and to see, like, is this an actual thing that's developing here?
Mm-hmm.
But to see it full blown now, where this kid is, like, from a business standpoint, first and foremost, what really pissed me off about it is, like, dude, like, there are people parking in the parking lot that would normally never park in your parking lot and come shop in your store ever. Ever, bro. Right. Like what you're getting more foot traffic and more parking traffic today than you would get probably all year. So why are you pushing people out of the parking lot when the police are not even letting people drive around this area very much?
You said this is Family Dollar?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to get a Fago. I'm gonna sit in the parking lot. I'm a customer. I bought this here.
Right. Like that's the thing. Like, but the way he was saying it was very specific. If you're not shopping here, you can't park in the store.
Did he have glasses on?
Black dude. I don't think he had glasses on.
He was black?
Yeah, he was black dude.
And he's talking like that?
Yeah.
He knows something. He knows something. We not gonna do that. Like we gonna get paid to do it, but we're not gonna actually do it all the way. No. I'm not gonna put my life on the line for a parking spot.
No.
Yo, you can't park there. Yo, F you. All right, fam.
Right.
Chalk it up. Chalk it up. This little has $16 ain't enough.
Right.
Chalk it up.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And let's see. Roy's getting at me here. He said, "Oh no, Spin got at me." But Roy said, "Does Keys use foil on the grill? I go without. I used to use the foil. They actually have these mats that you can buy, these copper mats you can buy in your grill. I just section the charcoal off on, so you cook with the steam, not the fire. So that's that. Videsh, I believe you, but charcoal is not cheap, so I'm not putting the whole bag in there regardless.
Right.
Nope.
I'm looking at that like, you supposed to like the whole bag? Bro, the whole bag.
Damn.
Come on.
Damn. Nope. I've been doing it really wrong then, because
right.
I'm a lighter fluid king too. I'm like,
yeah. That's how I got myself. That's exactly how I got myself.
Well, 6'6", I can put it right up here.
Well, see,
and I swear from a distance, I'm a squizzer from way over here. And Spin, no, I don't use frying pans on the grill. Not yet. It's coming though. Don't you worry. I'll let you know when I do too.
I mean, that's like, there's this one dude that does a YouTube channel that does that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll create the fire, put a frying pan on there, and
put a steak in here, whatever, put his veggies. Yep.
Sear some salmon up or something. Yeah. So it's been done.
Done.
Kev says Oz. Okay. All right. All right. So let
Kev said, "What the hell are you cooking with that shit?"
Right, with the whole bag too. Yeah, I gotta get that. I gotta get that paper flavor in there. Somewhere.
Gotta have it.
But I mean, overall, I guess the fourth was really good. The fourth was good. Had family over this weekend, did some swimming, and it helps having a pool when it's 90 degrees outside and humid and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the UV was something else.
Huh?
The UV was something else,
bro. It was like literally my wife is Hispanic, and she was outside for 10-15 minutes, maybe came inside, was like 2 shades darker already.
Well,
like had tan lines and everything. Like, whoa, that's pretty serious.
I was gonna say, now that we know, she done bumped up a little bit from the UV as well.
Really?
I got to her back. These mosquitoes was on my man.
Yo, it's okay.
On me.
I kid you not. Caitlin never experiences that.
No,
she does not. Mosquitoes don't like her blood.
That's crazy.
I do not understand it. For me and my daughter, we both get attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Ray, my youngest son, and Caitlin, my wife, they can walk through the yard all times of night, be outside looking at the stars. Nothing, bro. Nothing.
To me, they be like, "He's here."
Right. They be sitting out there with a fork and knife waiting for me. Yeah. Come on outside. I know you gotta walk them dogs. Let's go.
They're like, "Come here, Big Daddy."
Right. So I mean, look, let's move on. It was a great fourth. Hopefully, you all enjoyed your fourth.
I was gonna say, anybody want to share? What did you put on the grill? What did you put in the microwave? What did you put on the stove? What did you do?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I want to know what y'all was eating, because I haven't eaten dinner yet. So I can hear about food when I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah, I didn't eat either. Dang, I didn't eat it.
It's okay. You'll get there.
I forgot.
Do they like order food for y'all at the second job? You ain't got no time to eat?
Well, I got as soon as I get there.
Oh.
Actually, no, I don't know what the flight schedule is anymore, because everything has been so late. On Thursday, I was supposed to be here until 4 a.m.
What? But I'm supposed to
be off at 12:30.
Right.
Yeah, but one of my planes is coming 3.5 hours late, and I have to stay for that.
And
so that's why when people say, "What time you get off?" I'm like,
Don't ask me.
Don't know. I don't know. And a written rule at the airport, when somebody asks you, when are you getting off, you say, I'm not telling you. We don't talk about that. That's bloodshed. You know not to ask. Like we'll look at the board like, okay, it's in the air. We gonna get out of here. I'll be like, don't you say it. Don't finish this. They're like, you're right. Because it could divert, it could go bad, anything can happen. One time they left all the bags off a plane. 180 people on the plane, no bags.
Bro, how did they get away with that?
Okay, this is what really happened. They sent Cleveland bags to Buffalo and sent our bags to Cleveland because they did a plane change. So they didn't change the bags. They didn't. So they had to drive an 18-wheeler from Cleveland to Buffalo to drop off the bags down there and then pick ours up and take them. But I started to do 150 claims.
So, as ridiculous as that sounds, there's something in our chat that's even more ridiculous. Apparently, Tommy had 6 hot dogs in 5 minutes.
I heard,
and then realized how AO that sounded.
Pause.
And right. and then comes out to say I ate 6 hot dogs in 5 minutes. He correcting himself, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the damage is done at this point.
Big ups to Tommy. He did he did a live viewing of the
hot dog challenge.
Yeah, the hot dog challenge, and then he had like a little mini joint on his show, which it sounds really cool, by the way.
I heard him say he did that, and I'm like, I could do that. But see, the thing about that grosses me out about it
when they dip it in the water.
In water,
yeah, bro.
What the hell are you doing? No. Beer, barbecue sauce, something, not water.
Anything but water,
dude,
right?
At this point, you just eat to eat. People would say that you eat to eat. I do eat to eat because I like to eat because I'm not hungry all the time. But when you put it in the water, you're really eating to eat.
So as long as Key's got a big old glass of bourbon right there to dip the hot dogs in, he's fine in the contest.
Now we talking. There we go.
Oh now, my gosh!
Tell me how how tall are you?
Oh Laura,
what you got?
That you about to
he took it down. Obviously, I don't know how big Tommy is. Are you like I've seen him sit down. I've never seen him like stand up. So are you a tall guy? Explain it.
Yeah, how tall are you, Tommy? Yeah. That's a great question. Spin says, do you put an ice cube on your burgers when you grill it?
Nope.
Why is that a thing?
It is because it keeps the moisture in the inside, the middle of it keeps it from drying out.
Oh, on a charcoal grill. Yeah. Oh, okay, got you.
I don't.
Wait, so you like it dry?
I don't. I messed up last time because the fire was too hot.
Well, you make the patties yourself.
I make
right?
the patties myself.
Yeah, usually they won't get.
Nah, I make them big too.
Yeah, they won't get dried out like that. No. Oh, 6'2", 300. He a DT.
Okay.
He a DT, man. Jeez.
There you go, Tommy.
Right? You got me by a couple inches.
He said it with his chest, man. 6'2", 300. What of it?
Right. All right. Where you
want to go with this?
Yeah. You know what? I do want to say this.
Go ahead.
And I've been wanting to say this since before we put out the notice that we weren't going to be able to do the shows last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of going through this process of understanding why I drive myself crazy with the comments, because I find it important to respond. And most of the comments that we get are usually people calling us a clown or telling us what we said that was so ridiculous on the show. And then I get into these, back and forths with Mr. Dill Trill and sometimes Bill's Mafia Experience. And we'll just have these back and forths.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You do not.
No.
but I've always found it important to kind of make sure that I'm being as clear and concise about my perspective as possible, to make sure that at the very least, people can't misquote me or misunderstand what I'm saying, because I've explained it as much as I possibly can. And if at that point where I feel I've exhausted every way that I can possibly explain or clear things up, and they still are saying that I'm saying something I'm not actually saying, well then okay, at that point I can rinse my hands of it and be done with the conversation, because I tried. That's just that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to go the extra mile in that sense.
Yeah, no. See, okay. I shouldn't say, but if you keep doing that over and over again, it's the same thing. I don't even care how you view me anymore. I really don't. I don't have time.
Right.
I don't care how you view me. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care what you think about my hat, about whatever. I don't care, because there's, for everybody that says that book, Mom, you know what I was going to say. Is the 10, 15, 20 people that say good things about us, that will indulge us in conversation, that will say, like in the Discord, I don't agree with anything Joe Marino says or this and third, but I still watch it. And that's people that I want. I want people that don't really agree, but make sense when you argue with me. If you're not gonna make sense to argue with me, just shut up.
Right.
You know, just shut up. Or tell me you true, or tell me you trolling. That's fine if you do that. But I mean, you trying to get your 15 minutes of fame, and I ain't got it. You know, yeah. So Spin said, people call you a clown. That's a good one. I might use still.
Oh, of course, Spin. Feel free. Yeah, I mean, I should be used to it by now. But I guess the point, the point of me bringing that up is to say this. I think at the end of the day, this show is designed around this concept, right? For those of you who have siblings, you'll understand this. Whenever my two youngest come up to me and they say, he hit me, she pulled my hair, did this and that, and the other thing, and they're bickering and they're arguing and they're trying to get each other in trouble, and they're both trying to tell me their sides, I know as a parent, usually the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? And the first thing that I like to do in those situations is I'll stop all the bickering and arguing, everybody quiet, and then I'll pick one. You tell me what happened. Okay, well, she did this, and no, I did. Oh, hold on. Let him say what he gonna say. Go ahead and finish. After my youngest boy finishes saying what he got to say, okay, now my baby girl, what you tell me what happened, and then she'll say what she got to say, right? After I've gathered everybody's information, I start to address both of them at the same time, because my understanding is they have very different perspectives of the same exact issue.
Of course.
Right? And I think that's what this show is designed around when it comes to the way that we present our points, the way that we do our research. It might sound negative. Some Dorothy, who was just in our Discord chat talking about all people talking about, Josh looks fat and looks like he put on weight and stuff like that.
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you.
And I guess there was a picture that came out. People were saying he looks a little chubby.
Wrong angle. A lot of booze at a wedding, stuff like that.
Probably. Yeah. But I played a little game, and Dorothy, I'm sure you caught on to it. I started coming at Dorothy. Oh, why are you being so negative? Why you coming? And she's like, but I'm not being negative. I'm just saying the truth. Like, this is what people are saying. Exactly. that right there is a microcosm of what we have been trying to do, or what we've been trying to expose or show or bring out on this show as much as possible, is that, yes, we have a perspective based on our research. Yes, based on what you're hearing, you have a perspective of what the Bills are doing, or what Sean or what Bean is doing. Fine. But I think collectively at some point we have to all agree that the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's not just what I say, and it's also not just what you say at home if you disagree with us. It's somewhere in the middle. And that is the foundation of the show. Is we're going to buck the system. We're going to present this information, and you choose which side you want to sit on after that. If you agree with us, great. If you don't, but the clown calling and all that kind of stuff, like that kind of pushed me to the point of, all right, do I really need to be, you know what I'm saying? Do I really need to be trying to clarify that stuff if all I'm going to get is clown? Spin says, what Keys and Aramis is saying is that their perspective is the only perspective that matters.
It's got to be Spin. No, and that's the thing. I've realized in the comments that's what you just said is what it is. So we got a Discord that we got to man. I've not been good at it because I've been trying to do other stuff. Between jobs and that third, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
You can misquote, misconstrue. I'm gonna say this like this. Watch it again. That's it.
Yep. Watch it again. If you ain't get it the first time, you should.
Matter of fact, timestamp when I said what you said, I said, so I can watch it again.
Yeah.
Just do that. Yeah. We'll be done. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Roy, not yet.
When does the Bean German passing start? No, I know you couldn't Spin. Thank you though. That was funny. Show us the fat pic. Oh,
I don't even know the picture.
We're on cell phones right now. That would be a lot to try and grab and post, and I don't want to have all that dead space here.
Yeah.
Laura says it's very nice you try to address everyone's comments, but some people just aren't worth the breath or consideration.
I said that in private, but I didn't say it quite like that. I said it a little differently. But you won't know that side of me. You won't know that side of me. So
yeah, it's probably best. No?
Yeah, it has some filler words in there. I didn't want to say on the show. But yeah, no, we really do appreciate 813 people watching right now, and whatever the number amounts to. But like we always said, even in the beginning of the show, beginning of the infancy of the show, I'll say, if you're gonna disagree, just disagree, but let us know your thoughts. I don't want to hear because McDermott said so.
Right.
Because Marina, what did you say?
Right.
What do you say?
What does your research show?
Yeah, and then if you don't like what we're saying, I expect that little number to drop by one.
Number.
Yeah, drop that by one. Save yourself some time.
Right.
I mean, it's that we want everybody here, but if you're not going to bring anything constructive, go play on the freeway.
Okay. With that being said, I don't want to keep telling people to go play on freeway.
No, these people 822, stay here.
Yeah.
Love you. But no, okay, go
ahead. Steve says being positive and hopeful is not only easy, it's mindless and more profitable. Pointing out negative facts takes real research because it's going against positive narrative and requires real passion. I can tell you for sure we are passionate about this.
Yeah, I mean,
very much so.
When I tell you, like literally today, Laura made a joke when I popped in for a second on Discord. You know what I was doing all day? My notes for the show. I was looking up stuff. I was typing stuff out. Laura actually has a copy of my dossier, so she knows what I.
Oh my God! You actually sent her one?
I sent her one.
Oh my God!
Because she said something about the GM. She said I was curious about it. I said, you know what?
Yeah, I remember.
Let me just make it easier. I'm just gonna send it to you.
Yep.
And she said, "Oh my God!" And you're like, "I'll look at it tomorrow."
Yep.
She didn't know it's gonna be like 4 pages long.
She thought she did research until she saw that. I believe it.
She literally thought I was like just going to trash him. She's like, you didn't trash. I didn't say I was going to trash him. I just said I was going to be objective and tell you what I had.
You see what I'm talking about, Spin? Like, thank you. Nothing beats it.
That's it. So with that being said, no.
right. It's time
for the bashing.
Yep. All right. So
where you want to go first?
Look. I want to get to this James Cook thing because I want to get in there.
Tommy's here, so let's do it.
Right, exactly.
Before Tommy leaves, he said we had an argument this weekend, and I finally said he was right. I don't remember that, but
he always tries to sneak those wins.
No, in there what I did say. No, what I did say to Tommy, in fairness, and this was what I said. I said, everybody talks about Cook's number, like we were talking about with Damaris earlier. Everybody talks about his numbers and what his weight is and what he can't do because it's this. But I think the reason why I like James Cook is because of a Devin Singletary. And it's not a slight on him. It's just that the whole time I'm watching 2-6, I wanted number 4. Because I've always told you, where's our guy with speed? Where's the shifty? Because everybody says Singletary shifty.
Yeah.
But he wasn't doing nothing with it. And it's like every year Cook, he can't do this, he can't do that. And then he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Messing around, he's a quiet dude. He's not going to give you a soundbite. He's not going to give you anything exciting. But if you say he can't pass block, if they want him to pass block, why don't they be creative? Put him out on routes. You got Ray Davis, you got Ty Johnson, who are guys you don't really need to be off the field, but that's the beauty of a James Cook. You can put him in the slot. You can put him as a duo with Josh Allen and move one of them, before the snap. It's so much stuff you can do, but they don't do it. So all they do is they run you. You can move him from the pistol to the right side shotgun, left side, and that's for Joe Brady to figure out where he's best.
Right.
But if you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, how do you expect the same result next year?
Exactly.
And people are waiting for that 16 touchdown marker, waiting for that 1,100, 1,200, even he can, but he doesn't. Trust me, I know.
Right.
I've dealt with him, and he's not rude, but it's like he looks at you waiting for you to say something. He don't, and that's what it's like. He calls you sir. He's very polite, very respectful, but he isn't going to give you a nice conversation. Right. And that's cool, whatever. But
sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, me, I wouldn't talk. I want you to talk. But I think what people are falling short in their assumptions is that we're maxing him out. There's a whole nother partition of James Cook that we're not tapping into because they won't.
Real quick, before I get to this article, Steve says if Post Podium Podcast was just an echo chamber of empty hope like other channels, their ratings would double and donations would go wild.
That's true.
Yet they go against what's popular in order to make you question and grow. I couldn't have said it better.
That's really our mantra.
That's it. That's what we're about. And he saw that early. He's been with us for since the beginning, pretty much.
Very long time.
Yep. So thank you for that, Steve. Really appreciate that. So there was an article that this James Cook conversation is surrounded around, and the title of it is Bills offense predicted to suffer James Cook related regression. Now, the article itself is it's by Ralph Ventry on SI.com. And SI fantasy expert Michael Fabiano identified 20 fantasy football stars destined for stat regression in 2025, and Buffalo Bills running back James Cook made the list. Yeah. Now, what's funny about this to me, and by funny, I mean funny faux pas, not funny haha. I think this article in a lot of ways kind of behaves as or could behave as justification for those people who are saying don't sign James Cook, because he's not going to put up 16 touchdowns again, right? And here you have this analyst saying, oh, his numbers are going to regress. Okay, so in my conversation with Coach D before the show, this topic came up because he asked what we were talking about, and he even kind of confirmed. It's no secret that if you are a player that has a lot of success one year, the following year you're not going to have the same level of success, right? The other part of this, and I'm going to get to some stats now. The other part of this is the people that are saying, well, he doesn't deserve top 5 money because he's not Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, or Christian McCaffrey, right? And let's see if he can do 16 touchdowns again, as if to say that the top 3 running backs have been consistent their entire careers and put up big numbers their entire careers.
There's been 43 seasons in NFL history of 16 or more touchdowns. 43 seasons
in history
of the NFL of 16 or more touchdowns.
I would also add to that, and I'm going to add to that, there's only been one time in the last 7 years, 7 seasons, 6 years, since 2018, the only running back to improve his numbers in consecutive years is Derrick Henry. He's the only one, and that was from 2018 to 2019 to 2020. In 2018, he carried the ball 215 times for 1,059 yards, 12 touchdowns. 2019, he got 303 carries for 1,540 yards, 16 touchdowns. The next year after that, 378 for 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns. The year after that, 937 yards. Year after that, 1,538 yards and 13 touchdowns. And then the year after that, 1,167 yards. So back on that roller coaster. Mm-hmm. Before 2018, he wasn't putting up any numbers. He had 5 touchdowns both of his first 2 years. He ran for 490 yards his rookie season. In his sophomore season, he ran for 744 yards. Mm-hmm. Right? You look at you say, okay, well, that's Derrick Henry. So let's take it to Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, his rookie season, 1,307 yards. Season after that, 1,003 yards. Gets hurt in 2020, only ran for 34 yards. Comes back 2021, 593 yards. 2022, 1,312 yards. 2023, 962 yards. Again, up and down, regardless of injuries.
Yeah, you look at 2024, and he had a monster season, but he had a monster season with all the weapons in the world around him.
Yep.
You know, and people I don't know.
Oh no, that doesn't even include his season with the Eagles.
Yeah,
his season with the Eagles is 345 carries for 2,005 yards.
I know it's a million carries, but you know the thing is, like, people don't bring in the fact that, because everybody talks when James Cook, it's offensive line, it's Josh Allen.
Yep.
But who else is there? I'll wait for that one, because there isn't any. But Saquon had AJ, had Devontae, he had he had what's the name, Jalen Hurts. I mean, the offensive line. I mean, there's a million things around him. Would James Cook have done the same thing? I'm not saying that. But I'm saying he didn't do it by himself, and that doesn't make him the number one guy, because he's there with all these weapons, and Cook is here with Josh Allen.
Right.
That's the big difference. So Yeah, I mean, I think, also if you put in a vacuum, and I'll take it back a step further, only 32 times in NFL history has a running back run for 16 touchdowns and run for more than 4.5 yards a carry. So 32 seasons out of how long has this league been around?
Since 1965.
Yeah, 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
And 32 times, 32 seasons has this happened. And James Cook had 4.9 and 16. I mean, it's not to be laughed at.
Yep.
Number 89 out of 100 of the top 100 players, number 89.
I mean, I need the hatred to make sense. I mean, look, the highest paid running back in the league right now is Christian McCaffrey, right? This is the highest rated running back in the league, even with all the injuries. This man has gone over 1,000 yards 3 times in his entire career.
Yeah,
due to injury. 3 times. And he's the highest paid running back. This is the man that James Cook is aspiring to make the same money as. Right? And this dude, 3 seasons, right? And only 2 of those seasons did he have double-digit touchdowns. 15 touchdowns in 2019, 14 touchdowns in 2023. So, again, who are we comparing James Cook to? I'll even give you Josh Jacobs. Okay, Josh Jacobs' rookie season came in 2019, 242 carries, 1,150 yards. 2020, next year after that, 273 carries for less yards. He only got 1,065. He got 12 touchdowns that season. The season after that, 872 yards. 2022, he goes off. Was the best running back in fantasy that season. 1,653 yards and 12 touchdowns on 340 carries.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. The execs are saying we don't know if he's a bell cow back, James Cook, because he didn't, can he carry 300 times? But in Buffalo, you don't have to. Right. If you have a decent quarterback, you don't really have to. Exactly. If you have any wide receivers, you don't have to. Why is that the benchmark? Why is 300 carries a benchmark anywhere anymore? It's a passing league.
Right.
So I mean, I get executives when they say stuff like that, but at the same time, does it really matter? If you got a second running back, use him, 15% of the time, or put him out and put him out wide, And that's the thing. The Bills in the last 8 games of the season that being lauded as being this. What are you doing? What else can we do? James Cook played more snaps than Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. Obviously, we know that, but he also was by far the second biggest contributor on offense in those glory games that Bean talks about. So that means not only is he getting it on his own, but he's also doing stuff for Josh Allen to alleviate his pressure. We want to look at how many times that James Cook had a touchdown inside the 5, because those are hits that Josh Allen doesn't take. Ray Davis, fine if you want to do that, but I read an article that said if James Cook is gone, the Bills need to go empty sets. What? I thought Ray Davis and Ty Johnson were so great. Keep doing what you've been doing. Why are we going empty set if he's not here? Why are we thinking about other things changing because he's gone? If he's just another running back, and I was talking to Tommy and something in here, I forget what he said here, but yeah, somebody else said it. The vision is what gets it for me. The fact that James Cook stops in a dime, hits a hole, hits a crease on the backside, and hits the second gear like that.
Yep.
I mean, that's not normal.
This proves your point right here. You said Senke says notice in the top 100 stated Dion stated when the O-line doesn't get there quick enough, his vision, James's vision and speed gets it done. So for an O-line member to say that, it's not the O-line, he's gifted.
Yep.
And that you brought out a stat that proved that, which is the yards after contact. I mean, even if you take into consideration the yards before contact, you know what I'm saying? He's getting, defensive players are getting to him faster than they would get to some of the other top tier running backs, and he's making more with each carry beyond the line of scrimmage than what the O-line is supposed to give him. Right? I'm pretty sure that's the stat that you gave basically pointed out that he's getting more than what the O-line is actually giving him.
Yeah, he's got adjusted. How's it go? Yards per carry over expected. He's like plus 1 yard per carry over expected. The other 2 were negatives. Ray Davis and Ty Johnson negatives. Not a big deal. I mean, it is what it is. But when you see a full yard, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
If you look at the rating, I can't put it right now to tell you exactly what number he is, but he's top 10. And that's no small feat. Now, where were we? Mafia. Okay, Bills. Okay, so where are we going with that one?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand this one too.
Who are those? I think I don't know if this is a real player or because he also followed up by saying something about 2002 and 2003. So I don't know if that happened back then. I didn't get a chance to look at the numbers on that. But
the thing about 2002, 2003, that was still the old era where running backs were the focal point of offenses.
Yep.
And that's just not the case now. Part of the reason why I tried not to go that route was for that reason. Like I didn't want to go through the history of running backs because it's been two different eras essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But my reason for comparing the ups and downs of all the other top tier running backs in the league was simply to show that foundationally, every player that you think is so much better than James Cook, and every player that you're saying is the standard that James Cook has not met, and every player that you're saying is the guy that James Cook wants to be paid like and doesn't deserve that money because those players are so far greater than James Cook, have ups and downs just like he does. Yeah. So what are we really talking about at this point?
So let me think. Okay, so 2002, McGahee came when? 2004, maybe. So
McGahee?
Yeah, was that Travis Henry before 2000 2003? Because I know 14.
Yeah, Travis Henry was when McGahee came in.
Okay, so that would almost make sense. I think that's where we're going. But yeah, he said Bills running backs had 1436 rushing, 14 touchdowns, followed the season 1356, 10 touchdowns. Should he be paid? Absolutely should be paid. Absolutely. But I'm not sure.
So yeah, McGahee was 2004.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not sure if you're saying he shouldn't be paid, Tommy, or was there a second part to that somewhere? But yeah,
realistically, I mean, okay. So even if we're looking at McGahee, right? He had 1,128 yards, 13 touchdowns his rookie season,
mm-hmm.
right? Then the next season after that, I'm sorry. Keep in mind his rookie season, 284 carries.
What was his yard for carry though? That's if you have it, I got it. I can find it.
Yep. His yards.
Because I think he was like 3.9.
Oh, that's receiving. Where is it? I'm on Pro Football Focus. Oh, I'm sorry, Pro Football Reference, but I don't see it. I see his success rate. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 4 yards a carry.
4 yards a carry.
Yep,
4 yards a carry at 284 carries, 1,128 yards.
Yep, and 13 touchdowns. Right now, how many carries did James Cook have last year?
207.
207. 207. And how many yards did he have?
1,009.
1,009.
Mm-hmm.
So McGahee comes in with 284 carries and only puts up 1,128 yards rushing.
James Cook was averaging about a full yard more than McGahee per carry.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So then you go to 2005, McGahee's sophomore year, he gets 325 carries, goes for 1,247 yards. The yardage was better, but the touchdowns, 5.
Mm-hmm.
5.
Mm-hmm.
All of those short yardage carries, teams said, no, not anymore. No, you don't.
Okay, he is talking about, yeah. And okay, so that's right, yeah. And at the time, Travis Henry was my favorite running back. Yeah, I definitely think you should have been paid. And honestly, I was 19, so I wasn't paying attention to the numbers. I ain't had no money, so I ain't care what they got. I know Travis Henry was playing with a broken ankle and a torn rib. So yeah. No, I think the reason why I brought up McGahee is because I'm trying to conceptualize without looking up who was the running back that we're talking about 2003, 2002.
Oh, okay. Yep.
But yeah, if you go and look at what you just said, the numbers drop with a whole nother running back. And me and Tommy that's what it was. Me and Tommy were talking about on Friday, Saturday, maybe. He said the Bills can just go draft another guy. I said, and I wasn't being funny. I said, who are you looking at?
Roy just said that, yeah.
Yeah, I said, who are you looking at? I said, who are we looking at? And definitely not to increase carries on Ray Davis. Are we looking at the top 5 guys are more like Ray Davis kind of running backs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you don't like Ray Davis, fine, but you're not going to find somebody that can do what James Cook does this year.
Right.
So you would be going with the Darrington Evans or somebody like that in order to fill the time until 2027.
Right.
Which is, if that's what you want to do, fine. And I'm not saying that you can't do it. I literally was asking, Tommy, who was he looking at? Because I know Singleton from Penn State. There's a guy from Tulane. I looked at. I did a deep dive. I think we didn't get to go into it on the show, but I was like, since Cook is gone, who are we looking at? And right. I was like, okay, you could do these guys, but they're not going to give you what Cook does at all.
Right. And so I guess at the end of all this, The point I'm trying to bring out about James Cook and just the idea of regression in general, I don't think we should put so much weight on the stats that he puts up yardage wise and touchdown wise this year, just as the only thing that we focus on, because yes, we know he was so good last year that teams are going to now focus in. We're not going to let James Cook go off like that. What are the ways when you go into the film room and you decide that you're going to look at the Buffalo Bills film and you want to figure out as a defense how to stop that team? You now know, first and foremost, stop Josh from scrambling to his right. Mm-hmm. Second thing is you got to take away the seam. Third thing on that list is now quickly, and probably the second thing on that list is quickly becoming shut down James Cook. You got to find a way to stop James Cook, whether that's, doubling the the gaps or shooting the gaps, quicker, or blitzing, or whatever it is that you got to do to stop him from getting, and it's not even a momentum thing with him because his vision and agility is so good that he can make stuff happen. But the point of all this is to say, because teams are now going to be focused in on stopping him in order to stop the Bills' offense, he's going to see a regression. That happens with every great player. I just showed y'all. That happens with every great player. Defenses are going to make sure you don't do it again.
Yeah, and I think Tommy's really pounding the table here. So we're gonna put this up and we're gonna table this here. He said, "There's some solid running backs that don't have Cook speed." I know. I know.
Well, speed is what kills, though, right?
Speed is what kills. But if you notice what I said when I said what James Cook does for me that separates him from the other guys is vision. It's his ability to read a block and get to the hole fast.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the fact he's at straight line speed, but it's. I mean, this is like why is Devontae Adams any good? He's slow, right? Yes. Why is Hopkins good? He's not the fastest, right? Yep. But there's a nuance to it.
Yep.
And they know how to use what they have to get it done. Now, when James Cook hits that hole, he might not have a 4.3 speed, but when he hits that hole, if he's at top speed already, that's an asset.
Yep.
If he can cut at full speed, that's an asset. If he's running through people now, that's an asset. And that's something that I don't have an appetite to try to go find again. And I think it might have been Videsh. I'm sorry if I missed it, but he's at why if we don't sign Cook, why do we even bother on the day 2 pick with the running back when the Bills showed you they don't value? Okay, Walter, I'm sorry. If they don't value the position and they don't want to resign it, yeah, that's true. So yeah. I don't know, but I think this really stands up to questioning what is Joe Brady's, what is his philosophy, what does he want? Because we saw them draft James Cook before Brady really became an OC. Mm-hmm. He's just a holdover, and so what does he want? What is his vision for a running back? Maybe he wants, because we see Ray Davis was McDermott's guy.
Yeah.
He said it in the draft. We're getting Davis, right? He like, we'll go Van Pran first. No, it was the other way around. It was Bean's guy. Mm-hmm. Bean wanted Davis before he took Van Pran. McDermott wanted the center.
Right.
But the thing is, where was Brady? I've said this before. Where was Brady in that vision? You wouldn't know where to be found. He was in the back with his head, with his hoodie on. Right. He was like, I just work with it. That's what he said. I guess it wasn't about one guy, but he said, I work with what I got. Mm-hmm. Well, when are you going to tell him what you need to get what you want done? Because I don't want you working with what you got. I can get any OC to do that.
Right.
But I want to know what sets you aside and apart from all the other OCs that I could have had. Where is your creativity? Where's your innovation? What ascends you in that list of potential head coaches? Mm-hmm. And that's what I need to find out. And we're not seeing it now. Because Curtis Samuel, when he came and he started playing, where was that bubble screen? Where was the motion? Where was all the stuff that we saw early on? They stopped doing it. They started doing this vanilla nonsense. Right. I don't want that. I want innovation. We got a young guy. I thought he brought juice. I didn't see the juice. I saw 4 and 17. That was the juice. I need more.
Right. Statistically, and we've proven this already. Statistically, if you look at the Bills, if you look at the players that the coach and the GM have let out the door when they first got here, and they started doing all that roster surgery in 2018 or at the end of 2017. Basically, they got rid of Cordy Glenn. They let go of Marcel Darius. Who else did they get rid of that year?
When he first came in?
Yeah.
Nigel Bradham, Ron Brooks.
Ron Darby. They let go too.
Yeah, Ron Darby.
So I'll take the examples of Marcel Darius and Cordy Glenn, right?
Sammy was going soon after too.
Sammy Watkins. Okay, yep. Well, if you want to use that, that's pretty damning because they didn't bring any talent in the door that was the equivalent to Sammy Watkins after letting him go.
Yeah, Anquan Bolton told us that. Right. Who am I working with?
Right. You got a good look. No, I ain't doing it. So if you look at letting Cordy Glenn go, statistically at the beginning of their career, I would say both players were pretty much the same, right? The difference is Deion Dawkins ended up developing in a way that Cordy Glenn didn't, but there was no way to know at that point in time that Deion Dawkins was a better player or was going to be a better player than Cordy Glenn. There was only belief, right, for whatever that's worth, right? So if you're just looking at the facts, the Bills replaced one left tackle who was supposed to be a guard with another left tackle who was supposed to be a guard. And that guy, Deion Dawkins, happened to develop better than Cordy Glenn did. Yep. Okay, so now let's look at Marcel Darius. Marcel Darius, we thought we were getting an all-around player, ended up being a one-dimensional run stuffer, right? Couldn't pass rush in the NFL, right? So the Bills got rid of him. They brought in Ed Oliver, another one-dimensional player who not so great against the run, but can pass rushes behind off, right? So I'm saying all this to say the Buffalo Bills have done a good job of getting their guys in the door for their locker room. Respect. But when you're looking at actual improvement on the team, it's really only been one player that has been a vast improvement over the guys that they cut, who still had contracts here, who cost them cap space and caused the Bills to have to use this roster surgery mantra all over the place, which is Deion Dawkins. He's the only player that they brought in that ended up being better than the guys that they let go, statistically, right? So, and I guess not just statistically, but for the money and for the draft pick and all that kind of stuff, right? Again, convergence of information. But the point of me saying all this is, when you draft a guy like James Cook, you're expecting to get a third down back. That's what they thought they were getting. They did not think that they were getting an every down back in James Cook. Right. They saw him play part-time in Georgia, and they said, you're just going to come here and do the same exact thing you did there, which is what the Bills usually do. They like to bring players here that if you didn't do a whole lot in college, you can come here and not do a whole lot. That's fine. Whatever you did, you just going to do it here, except for linebackers and safeties. For some reason, they like to switch positions with those guys all the time, right? So what's my point? My point is you bring a guy like James Cook in here, and I think somebody said this. It might have been Kev. I want to find it. No, that's too late. And here we go. Says Kev says we finally found a home run back in Cook that can take it to the house in the snow, sleet, and rain. So the Bills get this guy in the door, and they realize he's better than he was in his rookie season.
Like, this dude's a problem.
Right. This kid is a real problem in his sophomore season. Okay. Well, he was part of a two-headed monster and, got a pretty good portion share. And I think they realized at that point, well, if he's in a two-headed monster and he's still putting up 1,000 yards and he's a lot better in his sophomore year than he was in his rookie season in terms of reading his, getting his reads, hitting the hole faster, all that stuff. I can't imagine what he's going to be like in his third year here. Do we really want to have to pony up the money that it's going to cost if we give this guy that many carries and give him an increased share in the snaps? Right. Okay, well, how do we justify not doing it? Okay, well, his numbers receiving aren't that great. So let's bring in a receiving running back then. We got Ty Johnson. Look, Ty, what you think about catching the ball, man? We'll put you on the third down. You run some routes, blah, blah, blah. We know you got it in you. Yeah, coach, I got you. Like, this is how conversations happen behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't me just making this up. Again, I've had conversations with Coach D. I've had conversations with other players. They confirm, like, these are things that the franchise and the coaches and the GMs think about on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's just here. This is the common knowledge. Yeah.
Right. It's just business management. It's really all it is.
Right.
It's business management.
We don't want to bump his head up too much until he gets his contract. Then we can do,
Right.
Go crazy.
We want his stats to be manageable enough so that when he gets to his contract year and he's up for an extension, we can give him Khalil Shakir money, or we can give him Christian Benford money. Money that is big now, but by the time the contract actually hits, it's going to be league average.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to look like winners.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to look like we did the damn thing. And we're going to get props from everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. Roy said, "What Glenn traded?" Well, he still got rid of him. Basically, what he's saying, he got rid of him. That was a sweetener for a Josh Allen trade. So
yeah,
I mean, it worked out in the end. But I guess kind of what we're getting at, what A's getting at is it's another one of those replacement with the same kind of player, And I don't want to park on the speed. I mean, if we can take anything else away, I don't want to park on the speed of James Cook being James Cook. Because if that was the case, CJ Spiller would be a beast right now.
Exactly.
He had no vision.
You're right.
He was 10 times faster than James Cook. And what was his issue? And they're going to say because the line was terrible, the team was horrible. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to get him in space, but he couldn't figure out how to get himself in space. He kept running where the hole was not. It was over here. He's over here. It's on footage. We've seen it, and people pointed out what they call them, the film bros, I guess they call them. They even told you that. So it was horrible reading blocks. So I mean, it is what it is. But and I started thinking about this earlier, and this kind of goes because you mentioned something about Brandon Beane. I was going to like a couple of days ago. I don't know if you remember what you said, what you were going to say.
I don't think so.
Dang it! You said you're going to hold it for the show. Should have wrote it down.
Wait, I texted you, didn't I?
You didn't text. You said, "Hold on, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you on the show."
About Brandon Beane?
Yeah, it was something with Beane. And I was like, oh yeah.
Let me go back and read it.
Yeah, I hope you wrote it in your drafts or something.
All right.
So you gotta get better at it.
Go ahead, say what you was gonna say.
But no, but I'm sitting here thinking, what is this whole hubbub about James Cook? And I thought about it. So wait a minute, TJ Sanders isn't even signed. Why isn't TJ Sanders signed? I can tell you why, but I want the people at home to play along. So
interesting.
What is the latest wave with regards to second round draft picks? The first 2 second round draft picks got what? Their contracts were
guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed. So now we got to wait for New Orleans, which is now in a pinch because Derek Carr retired. So he's like, nope, I'm gonna wait and see what you guys give me first. I want a full guarantee because I'm gonna probably be a starter too. Like, oh man, okay. So now Sanders like, yo, wait a minute. It's happening. The wave is happening. I'm next. If he gets a fully guaranteed contract, I want one too. But guess what? The Bills can't afford it.
Oh, snap. I completely forgot about that.
Yes. Okay. So
okay.
Walter, that's my point. Why isn't he signed? Most second rounders are not signed. Why?
Yeah,
because 30 of the 32 in the second round are not signed, and there's a reason because there's a wave happening, and now they're waiting for the guy before him to buckle. The first 2 got the fullies. This guy might get 80. I want that,
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the Bills right now, I think TJ Sanders fully guaranteed is $1.9 million. How much do the Bills have? $170,000.
Yep.
Now,
and that's not even with the full the top 51.
That's just 51.
Yeah.
So what that means is once the 90 is cut down, guess what jumps in? Dead cap. Right now we're sitting about $35 million in the arrears. Now, what can you do with this? You can restructure Deion Dawkins. He's 31. Put some more years on the back end, so we'll pay him in 2029, 2030
to not be on the team.
Right. You could do Dawson Knox again, who some people want to cut. He's not going to be cut, I don't think.
No, I don't think he's going to.
You don't have James Cook. You don't have Connor McGovern. You don't have David Edwards. So that offensive line that we're talking about, Kaputski. So they got to it's going to be easier to sign those guys. Edwards, yes. McGovern said, business is business. So that tells you this hometown BS. I'm not even from here.
Right.
So when I'm looking at the dead cap, and I've been screaming this since the show's inception about dead cap and how the cap actually is real. Now we're gonna start paying guys. And I'm like, okay, now is the time for that conversation we had with Big Baller. What do those B's really stand for? We got to see it now. He's got to do something. Now I want to know what your.
Well, so based on what I'm seeing in the text, I think it was just the reaction to what Sam Monson said about Brandon Beane, because we didn't get a chance to react to that. That came out like the day after we were supposed to do a show last week. So we didn't really get a chance to react to that. So for sure that was something I definitely wanted to talk about and bring up on the show, because the reaction, and while I do respect people's reaction in terms of, well, that's just Big Baller Beane and that's him looking out for his team and all that kind of stuff, like I get that perspective. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Sam Monson was on WGR and he mentioned that he believes that Brandon Beane is soft, and he referenced a point in history where Brandon Beane was working for Carolina, and that they signed or drafted, I don't remember, Matt Light, who I think is a tackle.
Yeah, he was a tackle. I don't know if he's right or left, so don't ask.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was a left tackle coming out, but I don't remember where he played for Carolina. But anyway, he didn't like the rating that PFF was giving Matt Light, so he called PFF and told them, change it, or I'm going to make sure you don't have any business. And for an NFL assistant GM to come after you in that way,
PFF.
Right, yeah, and you're fledgling PFF at that point in time. You know what I'm saying?
Just starting.
Right.
What do we do?
Right. It's the equivalent of Sean McDermott calling us and saying, stop saying whatever you're saying about me and Brandon Beane, or else I'll make sure that YouTube gets rid of you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we supposed to do at that point? Of course, we're going to tone it down, because now we're at the threat of losing what we have. You know what I'm saying? Being sued for
some phone numbers.
Right.
Long phone calls.
Right. So I guess the point the point that this kind of brings out about Brandon Beane in a sense is that there's a history of Brandon Beane coming down on media people and websites and all that kind of stuff to make sure that whatever work he's doing, there's a positive light shined onto it. And look, I want a positive light to be shined on what we're doing here, right?
Love it.
But I'm not going to call people and threaten them to get them canceled or threaten them to, I'm gonna get AI to make something up negative about you, and I'm gonna post it on all the social media and get you fired from your job and get you canceled and blah blah blah. Like I'm not doing that.
Right.
So for me, let's take a step back and let's set aside Brandon Beane being called soft. I think the idea that you have a person with that kind of power in a business that is built upon consumers, and every business is built on consumers, but not every business is built on their relationship with the consumer as much as a sports team is. Right? So when you have a guy in a business with that kind of relationship with its consumer, leveraging the other businesses that only have an opportunity to profit because of their connection to the sport in which your business is connected to, that you have the power in, and those businesses are being threatened because you don't like what they're saying. Never mind whether it's true or not. You just don't like it, right? To me, I'm not going to call the guy a bully, but I am going to say that when you're in a position like that and you don't have somebody. So this, I'm starting to kind of have this debate in my mind, and I do this a lot just to make sure I'm objective, because let me let you inside the brain of Aramis for a second. As I'm saying this, I'm about to say, if Brandon Beane doesn't have somebody publicly checking him, But then I check that in my brain and I'm saying, well, why would they check him publicly? They're not going to do that to their own GM because they don't want to embarrass him. He's still got to run the franchise on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the point I'm trying to get to is, if there's not a system of checks and balances in the franchise to make sure that your GM is not doing something like that, you know what I'm saying? If you're a franchise built on being objective about yourself and being real about who you are as a franchise, knowing what your identity is and sticking to that, then you should be okay if people say, hey, you're not doing so great drafting wide receivers.
Right. And that's what I said. You know, it's funny because Spencer, I thought Keys was a bean basher. Laura said I'm not good at it, so I guess I'm not.
No, you.
She said I'm not good at it. She said, of course you gotta be rational. Why are you rational? I thought I was. I'm sorry, but no. I think you know, who was it? It was that podcast I sent you. I was it Rock Pile Report, something like that.
Let me see.
Yeah. The host goes into to talk about how he's okay with being soft. I'm like, fair, you know, and being soft. If you know you're soft, is not a bad thing. If you know you're a lovable guy, if you know that you can't say no, just embrace it.
It is the Rock Pile Report.
Okay. So yep. Spin said Rock Pile Report. So he's like, you know, he goes and talk about how they treated Shaq Lawson and how Shaq Lawson got a check for, you know, this is our number. We don't see you as this, we see you as that. This is what we want to pay you. And Lawson's like, we're not going to negotiate. And he's like, no, see, this is where we view you. This is it. Now, this is why, because we saw you do this, that, and third. And he laid all the cards on the table, and I respect him. I'm like, I don't really care about none of that. It's a business.
Right.
I start low, you start high. Or, you know, in weird instances, I start high, you start low. If you really want to get out, you know, something like that.
Right.
But I mean, I think you were all nice with your so-called bashing. But you know, and the thing is, it's like, okay, if you're soft, be intellectual, and that's kind of what I was trying to bring out about it. He doesn't have the experience to do anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a money guy, even though he's put into that money guy bucket because we know he's not a player guy. He's not a
That's a great
scout.
point. That's a great point.
It's like, what does he do? He does something.
Yeah.
So boom. But he even says Overdorf got it done. Oh,
that means Overdorf's the
right.
money guy.
I mean, he's the money guy that we've known for the last 40 years. But you know, but I mean, the guy said, you know, Brendan Bean, he gives you a chance to say, you know what, this is where we are. We want you to go and be great.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go.
Doesn't that diminish Brandon Bean's position as a general manager to just the guy that Sean wanted to go in and manage everybody else as they do their job?
Yeah.
Like as the people who normally work in the general manager's department.
Yeah.
You know, with pro personnel and contracts and all that kind of stuff. He just wanted somebody in middle management. You know, I mean, that's basically what Brandon Bean is doing.
Right.
If he's not the money guy and he's not the scout and he's not going out to all these games and looking at it and taking his own notes and doing all that stuff, he's middle management.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy to me to think that we are praising this guy who's going out and calling PFF and telling them he's going to ruin them if they don't change the rating on a guy that he was part of or had a hand in drafting, not the actual GM. He's just an assistant GM at the time. And then a guy that goes and cusses out Jeremy White and Joe what's his name? DiBiase?
Mm-hmm.
On their radio show about them, you know, why you bitching about wide receivers.
And they were like we didn't see that happening.
Right.
They just look, literally, I love the fact that they have it on YouTube now, because now you can like, oh, that was bad. What was the reaction? I can go see the reaction.
Exactly.
I do it. I go look at it. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that hit Jeremy hard. he's like fiddling with stuff, and he's like, he wants to go, but you got to feed your family.
Right.
And that's the thing. And this thing, Walter, no, I didn't say he was soft. This was the verbiage used on the show that I'm referencing. So, but I think I will use the term soft for that, because your boss comes to your cubicle or whatever you do, you know, your carport, whatever you do, and starts going ham on you.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because he knows you can't do nothing about it.
Yep.
And I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna go on Pat McAfee and laugh about it. I'm gonna go on. Oh, he addressed it.
Oh my God!
Because guess what? McAfee's his boy.
Yep.
He's loose with McAfee.
Yep.
You know, he's loose with everybody that's like, yo, you that dude. That was crazy. You stuck it to him. You lose with him. But that's where you come on a show like this where we don't get paid by you. We don't get paid by anybody. Right. So, I have a full-time job. It's not going to be affected by what I say. You do.
Yep.
I got a kid at home. If you don't like what I say, shove it.
Right.
As a GM, no respect given, because I'm here to talk football. I don't owe you any loyalty. There's no alliance. Just if I don't like something you did, I'm going to say it, and people aren't going to agree with everything I say, but that's fine.
Right.
But when you go on GR, which is their flagship station, you went on 98.5 back in the day was their flagship state. You can't say nothing back to your boss. Because as we saw in Carolina, it was Ryan Khalil, by the way. In Carolina.
Right, the center. Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
I just thought about it. But you can't do that and keep your job. And they know it. Bosses are paid bullies sometimes.
Yeah.
They're the ones that got the swirlies, got the wedgies, like, one day I'm gonna fix that guy, and they hire you just to torment you.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Jeremy, how long has he had to listen to the backlash? And his Twitter is going nuts because of what happened. You look weak. You shouldn't have said it. See, that's what happened. No, that's not what happens. This is what happens at my job.
The station was actually so much more entertaining and easier to listen to when they weren't the official radio station of the Buffalo Bills. But here's what happens here in this town, right? When you're not connected to big business, people don't support you. And so they were going through a period of time where they switched networks. They were going, and this is between the times where they were the official station of the Buffalo Bills. Because I remember when I first started listening to WGR, they were the official radio station.
Yep.
Then somewhere along the line that stopped. Then Sal Capaccio came back, and it was even more interesting because he was critical of the Bills and what they were doing and all that kind of stuff, and talking about all the things that they could improve or needed to do better or needed to change. And then somewhere like maybe 4, 5, 6 years after Sal Capaccio came back, they then again became the radio station of the Buffalo Bills. And since that point, Sal Capaccio got a job with them and became their beat reporter and still worked at WGR. And then everything completely changed. You didn't hear anybody criticizing. You didn't hear anybody. Even when you hear Jeremy White talk about the Buffalo Bills and what they do wrong, he just goes with the numbers. And that makes it easy for him to say, I'm just telling people what you put in the stat lines. It's not my perspective. I'm just looking at the numbers.
You see, he only says that when he gets massive pushback.
Yep.
He goes, look at guys. Every time he said, look at guys, he's about to say, it's not me.
Right.
I'm a fan, but I get paid not to be a fan.
Right.
I get paid to do this thing, and even as much as he drives people nuts, I still like him way over Joe Buscaglia. Couldn't stand Buscaglia.
Yeah.
Couldn't stand. It was just like the way he talked. It was like matter of fact, no passion. I know everything. You don't know Jack. No, Sal, he's like, I know everything, you don't know Jack, but he still got that fanboy and energy to him.
Right.
And you can't help but like, what? I can't stand this dude, but I like this dude. That's be looking.
For me, it's the fanboy stuff for me. Like I like you,
Yeah.
I didn't mind if he was talking like he knew because you've been around players on the team longer than I have. You know what I'm saying? So you know a little bit more about how things operate inside the building than I do now. So for me to push back on that back then, it was like it didn't make sense. But now, like the fanboy stuff on top of him talking like he knows better than everybody else is like, dude, I probably know more people in the building than you do right now.
See, I can't say that. So.
but like that to me is like that's the disconnect for me. And that's part of the reason why I kind of realized this deal with WGR and the Buffalo Bills is more about that same kind of control that Brandon Beane needed to have over PFF than it is about the Bills wanting to, connect with the community, because for the longest period of time, the Bills were on FM radio.
Yep.
And fiscally, FM radio is better for the Buffalo Bills than AM radio could ever be. Right? So what's the point of me saying that? Well, the point is, if you're the Buffalo Bills and it makes more sense fiscally for you to be on FM radio, the only reason you would go and make an AM radio station the official radio station of the Buffalo Bills is to have control over the people that are getting the most listens about your team.
Yep.
Otherwise, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to 98.5.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
I was not doing it.
Nobody is listening to Nick and whatever her name is in the morning.
You know more than I do.
Nobody is listening to them talk about the Bills. I don't. They still get player interviews. I don't listen to that radio station.
Why did that make me laugh so much? It shouldn't have. And that was disrespectful. Chris said in the comments, I seen Salad Supercuts on Delaware and Hurdle, and I wanted to talk football, and I got fan shy like he's local. Now, the part that made me laugh.
He's at Supercuts.
Is that why Sal's bald? Did they mess him up that many times?
Yo,
Sal, let us know. Did they mess you up that many times? Did you just say F it? I'm done. Just shave it off? No. Yeah. No. I there's a time with AM. Oh yeah, for sure. That definitely is true. I mean, I think it's dwindling now with satellite radio, but because it reaches so far away. Oh, not as okay. His son. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. He did mention he takes his son to Supercuts. I
was
that's right.
Why are you going? You got the shiny. You could do it yourself.
You got the shiny.
You could do it yourself. Got it.
It's easy, Sal. Let me show you, bro.
Let me show you. I saw a commercial with the little thing, the little man. You all say Manscaped got a head thing and everything.
Right.
But yeah, no, I know what this is not what we were talking about, but I think the verbiage soft only would piss off a guy who doesn't want to admit that he's soft. Brandon Bean.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine to be soft. Do your job.
Yep.
And Kev, I saw you say Overdorf sucked. Now this is my thing with Overdorf. And we got our look in the window of Overdorf's office a while ago. When what he does is he doesn't make any decisions. All he does is say, if you want to go ahead and sign Deion Dawkins or Von Miller to this, cool, we can do it. But down the line, that's what's going to happen. Now, it's Brandon Bean's decision to say, I don't even care. Do it. That's what it is. So when he says, all these restructure, all this space that they put in the restructure, that's Overdorf doing it. Bean's like, just make it happen. I want this guy.
Right.
I got to have him. Where's my credit card? And Overdorf's like, sure, I'll make it work. But now that you see, that's the thing. I think it was with Whaley. I forget who the player was, but he said, if you get this guy, then you can't have that guy. So in essence, this time we're talking about if you get, take your pick. Von Miller will say, in 2025, you won't be able to get TJ Watt. You won't be able to get Scary Terry, who I think it was, I forget who was talking about in the Discord. It's not going to happen because Terry McLaurin is $30 million if he wants that at 30 years old.
Debo Samuel would have came here when his contract was up to play with Josh Allen. He definitely would.
Yeah, you have to clear up $60 million to make that work, unless you can get him to offer one of those heavy weighted incentive contracts, which I don't think you're going to do.
No,
he wants his money.
Right.
And that's what it all boils down to. Skull Shaver, yes, Tommy, Skull Shaver. That's what it's called. I was struggling. Let's see. Yeah, Roy. If I paid my debts and using void years, I'd never be able to retire. I might not be able to anyway, and I'm not using void years. But but no, I think that's the thing. People are like, just push it down. But guess what? We're talking about this right now because somebody kept pushing it down, and he should have been fired for a better cap guy. Well, I don't know. I mean, because like I said, if he was a guy saying you should do this, then I agree. But if he's a guy saying, well, you want all this luxury, I can make it fit. Just let me do my work. I mean, you're talking about COVID year. He was the one that spearheaded getting those contracts done in 2020 when we had a deficit.
Yeah.
And we didn't really lose anybody. We lost, a lot of re-signings, a lot of stuff built in. So I don't want to say that he was terrible. I think when you really understand what his job is and what his limitations are, it's like, all right, fine. McDermott for president. Yeah, we know.
Oh, of course. What's going on, Rich?
We're not even talking about McDermott. Right. Nobody even mentioned the man's name.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Right? It's like saying Candyman. Here he comes.
No, so I was talking, and this was kind of interesting. I was talking to a Jaguars fan today. Really cool dude. When I was driving Uber,
he's got to be.
And he said straight up, he's like, I'm still rooting for Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, I still believe he can do it. Then he mentioned the fact that the team brought in who's the kid they drafted? Travis Hunter, right? They still got BTJ. Who's their slot receiver? I forget who the slot receiver is.
Why don't I look it up? Shall I?
Yeah.
Go ahead. While you make your point, I'll tell you.
So the point of all this is, he got to telling me, what was wrong with the team and what happened and all that stuff. And as I'm listening to him talk, I'm like, man, he sounds like he's like getting close to the point where he's like tired of all this, right? Now, mind you, just 2 years ago, the Jaguars were winning a playoff game with Trevor Lawrence. And here they are 2 years later after watching Trevor Lawrence regress badly under Peterson, that, so much so that they ended up firing Peterson, and now they got Liam Cohen in there. He is a fan, is as a representative of the fan base, is basically saying, like, if Trevor Lawrence doesn't get it done this year, they're probably going to go in a different direction. Right now, he's a guy, he played football and he sounded very knowledgeable about sports. He was even talking hockey, and I don't even watch hockey. So I'm listening to this stuff, like absorbing his information and just listening. But this is, again, a quarterback who's 2 years removed from winning a playoff game. And here he is in a situation where, man, if you don't get to the playoffs and win a playoff game at least this season, you might be out of there, my guy.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, it was like, yo, even the Jaguars are reaching these points faster than Bills fans are. And again, this is not I'm not trying to slam anybody, but I guess it's just shocking. So here's the other part of this. When I told him how I see things as a Bills fan, from the standpoint of, it seems like Bills fans in general are not yet ready to make any definitive changes on what we got going on here, right? Everybody still believes that with what we have now, we can get it done, right? And I expressed that I see things from a different perspective. I also expressed to him how people, call me a clown on the show, and because of the perspective that I come from with the information that I try to provide and all that kind of stuff. And he wished me well on my journey because he understood. He understood both the importance of it and the tribulation of it, right? And I think what I respected the most out of that conversation was, this is a guy who started off that conversation saying, "Man, you guys got Josh Allen. You guys are blessed, man. Like, he's best quarterback in the league," and blah, blah, blah. Like, from his perspective, he wishes his team was where ours is, right? And here I am, here you are talking about what the Bills are doing wrong and what needs to improve and all that kind of stuff. You know what that reminds me of? Listening to Patriots fans during their 20-year run.
100%. And that's the thing, what they always said when the Patriots, they got the Super Bowl, they didn't win. It's like, yo, what is going on?
Right.
It wasn't, we're happy to be here, because there was an expectation.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I don't want the Bills fans and the Bills to be expecting to get to the divisional round. We need to expect to get to the dance.
Right.
That's the at this point, you've done it so many times, you can't beat the same team. So that tells you something's up.
Yeah.
You're not getting beat by everybody. You're good enough. It's just this one team you can't beat. I mean, that let's look at the Nuggets. I say when they played the Clippers, I said, we good. Then I saw says, we can't beat them. We never do. We're screwed every time. So I can sympathize with this Bills Chiefs thing, because it's like, I'm not gonna sing it. Although we come to the end of the road, it was fun. It was fun. And I think, to fill in the blanks here, I can't tell you who the slot receiver is, because he's not on the team anymore. Right now, their starters are BTJ, De'Ami Brown, and Travis Hunter. That's their slot guy right now.
Oh,
I think it was Parker Washington last year, maybe.
Yes. Parker Washington was their slot guy, so it's probably going to be De'Ami Brown this year.
There you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But Liam Cohen. Yeah, Liam Cohen runs 3 wide sets. He did it with Godwin in Tampa. Godwin was their slot receiver, and they had, oh man, who's that rookie they drafted that was nice?
Who's this? Tampa.
It was some dude they drafted. I think I had him on my fantasy team at one point. He was pretty good. He was putting up some good numbers.
Hold on, I'm about to look it up now.
It's a rookie. I better know this.
I like what Walter said. That's hilarious. all this overdoor slander going to get him on hop on the stream and remind you guys he drafted contract. Then be on McAfee. Yes.
That's great, bro.
I would love to see Jim Overdoor.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Can you please stop all over the radio station there? Oh.
He's like, Josh Allen's contract. Right. I did that.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
That was a good one. I was crying on that one.
Yeah, I would welcome that. I just so I can ask questions.
Just say my name. At this point, just say my name, and I'm like, yo, do it.
Yep. Kev says you guys forget that McDermott worked for Andy, so Andy knows his man. That's why he was fired. Yeah. Well, okay. So to be clear, the main reason why Sean McDermott was fired from Philly after one season, by the way, was because his defense was too complicated in terms of the way that he taught the players. Yes. It was too complicated. On top of that, his relationship with the players was horrible. Mm-hmm. They hated him, right? And so Andy Reid saw that, and he said, "I'm sorry, it's not going to work. The players are not with it. You've already lost the locker room. You got to go." That's how you lose a job in one season, right? So there was already that stigma around him that he couldn't get along with players and his defense is too complicated and blah, blah, blah. So what happens after that? He goes to Carolina and he's what? Better, right? We saw a Sean McDermott that started his career off in Philly improve in Carolina, right? So much so that his defense produced players like Josh Norman and Luke Kuechly and Kawan Short. Like, these guys were able to shine in that defense. Daryl Worley, who was absolutely nobody everywhere else he went other than Carolina, was a stud his rookie season in that Carolina defense. Who was the other guy that played for the Eagles? The corner. Gosh, I keep forgetting his name. I always remember Daryl Worley, and I forget the other guy's name. It's the guy that was holding against the Chiefs, and even admitted it in the post-game press conference after they lost that Super Bowl. He's like, "Yeah, I did it."
Can't remember who that was.
Anyway,
that's funny.
But
it was definitely me. Oh,
right. But again, the point of me saying all this is sometimes, and in Sean McDermott's case, this is true. It took him getting fired to improve. Some coaches are like that. Mm-hmm. There are also some coaches that are willing to make drastic changes and do something different in the midst of the trouble that they're in, right? So for me, my hope, and this is probably going to be the most positive thing I say about Sean McDermott.
Oh, you're too slow.
My hope is that Sean McDermott decides to make those drastic changes to the way that he coaches in the playoffs, and more specifically the second half of playoffs. Actually, I'll put the importance on both halves, because one of the things that the Jaguars fan said was that he doesn't have that killer instinct in the first halves. If he would just go balls to the wall, all gas, no brakes, and blow a team out like we can in the first half, then we can sit on a lead the way the Eagles did in the Super Bowl and just rest on a 40-point lead. Like, that's fine. That's not a boring game. If I was a Bills fan and we did that in the Super Bowl to whoever, I'd be ecstatic. Mm-hmm. I don't need the game to be exciting and win it.
No, not when it's my team.
They're right. I'll just take the dub. I don't care how it comes. I prefer a blowout so that I'm at peace and partying the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. That to me is way better than a nail biter and you winning by a field goal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So again,
I'm crying and smiling when we the confetti, and I'm like,
thank you, Alton.
I'm getting old.
James Bradbury. Yep.
I'm getting old because my heart. We won Super Bowl champions, but I don't like the ride you took me on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think like Kevin said, the pressure to apply, you go back to your old ways. That's why his coaches. I don't know about the coaches part. I'll take your word on that, but I can tell you for sure he goes back to his old ways.
Which one you reading?
The bottom.
Oh.
For sure he goes back to his old ways when the rubber hits the road.
Yep.
Yeah. And I saw you mention this, and I was mad about it because you poo-pooed it in the Discord.
What?
I'm gonna bring it up anyway.
Okay, I'm with it. What's up?
Chase Claypool.
on.
I saw you poo-poo. Now, I didn't. This is my thing. You hear McDermott give somebody good glowing remarks.
Okay.
You hear somebody who had a checkered past, somebody who came in, worked his butt off, and had an injury. I didn't know it was that serious.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he tore tendons in his toe or whatever case he needed surgery, which explains why he didn't land on anybody else's practice squad anywhere doing anything, because he couldn't play. I didn't realize he started off as like the number 10, number 12 wide receiver in the room. It was like, get out of here. to now, to getting first team reps, which I did know that part. I think for Claypool though, I'm not looking at the 53 on this. I'm looking at, one or two things happening. One of the guys not up to speed on the practice squad, or some injury happens where you got to elevate somebody from the practice squad and you have the space. I don't see, we don't have the money to really put him on the active roster, but I think it would be cool to have him in there as an insurance policy. Kind of duke it out with Keon, because they're 4 years apart in age, something like that.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's competing for the job, anything like that. I just think having somebody in a room that could be converted. I always thought he could be a tight end, like a move tight end. 6'4", 240, the wide receiver. That's a crazy size guy. And otherwise, we're talking about holdovers again. Jalen Virgil again. Hamler. I mean, I like KJ, but they clearly don't. So, bye. Let's bring somebody else in.
No, they like him for the practice squad
because he keeps coming back.
Right.
We know he can get.
He can't go nowhere else.
It's like Reed Ferguson.
Exactly.
And Kev said it too. I don't know who said it first, but I said the exact same thing. But no, I mean, the thing is, like, Hamler's talented, but he's not talented enough to make the roster.
Right.
And everybody talks about you just have to be top. We got to figure out your path to the roster. No, they need to figure it out for themselves.
So let's say it like this, because I don't think you actually mean he's not talented enough to make the roster. I think we both think he is.
Wait, look here, guys. I'm talking about what the Bills think. Okay.
Okay. There you go. Now you got it. You got it.
But no, I mean, I wanted KJ Hamler. I wanted him for years. I thought when he started getting the running back snaps 2 years ago in preseason, when the other guys went down, I was like, oh, he's killing it. He's got a touchdown. He's got this. He could be a gadget guy.
Right.
Curtis Samuel. I'm like, why Hamler?
Pretty much.
Then he's back again. And I think Claypool has the chops, and he says he feels as good as he's built. And Joe Brady said he was doing his thing. Josh Allen said he's doing his thing. He said he credits everything to the Bills organization. Does that mean everything to me? No, but that means you're not a jackwagon, because one, you're not making no money here.
Yeah.
Two, we can cut you for nothing.
Yeah.
And if we do it, you're done. People said that last year. You're done if you can't make it in Buffalo. Not because we're like some low rung organization, but that's too many teams that checked out on you.
Right.
So I feel like I could see a world where he does come back at some point, and it's just for practice squad. And I don't know. Yeah, Hamler is McKenzie. That's who Hamler is. Hamler is always in like all the gimmicks and stuff like that. If you watch all the footage, he's always in there making jokes and being a lighthearted guy that you want around. And I think I named him in my top 5. I want to have a beer and some wings with, but they just don't. They don't see him as what they want on the team. I think it's the size, because they like these big guys now, and you get a set where you got Keon Coleman in the slot. We'll say you put Claypool outside, put Palmer on the other side, and you got these huge guys that Moss people sometimes, cool. Like I said, I think I need to know what they really want in the players that they get, because there's so many guys that are like different from the guy ahead of them. Yeah. And like, which one do you, what is your philosophy? And it really breaks me in half, because, we're doing semantics about Hamler can play. True. True. No, I don't think, Sinky, I don't think Keon's here to compete. He's already starting. Yeah. So I think this is a move that happens for the back end to give a guy like Caden Prather some competition, a guy like Virgil competition, even as far as to say, wait, what? Whoa, wait a minute. Hold the phone.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is going on my wall. Somebody screenshot it. Send it to me.
Wait, let me take a picture of this. Take it up on the screen.
Oh, God.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
But I think for the back end, if you want to get creative and maybe show that you are willing to bring guys and who aren't our choir boys and Boy Scouts, and you might be better, you might do worse than that. But yeah, that was just a thought I had. I was thinking about tight end wise when you're looking at a depleted room where we're worried about Dalton Kincaid, but the last player we were worried about turned out pretty good. And for people that want to say I wasn't worried about Josh, most people were worried about Josh.
Yeah, pretty much everybody.
Yeah, so I wasn't. Show me some receipts. Show me the receipts. Laura got me too. Yes,
nice.
So yeah, I mean it worked out for guys that wanted to work out. No, not yet.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So I will give you practice squad Claypool.
Yeah.
I will give you that. What I will not take is potential to make the 53 Claypool.
Off rip? No.
That to me has to be all the, because I agree with your confusion about what do the Bills want. My theory is, and this is quickly becoming my theory about the entire team in a sense, I don't think they have such an identity offensively and defensively that they're trying to pick players that fill specific roles. What I think they do is they get the guys they like, then they get a feel for the skill set they have, then they try to figure out what they can do offensive and defensively from a scheme standpoint. How can we use the guys that we have here in the best way possible? That might fit majority of the guys. It might fit all of the guys on one side of the ball. It might fit a smaller portion of the guys when they get to live bullets and then they realize we might have to go in a different direction. This player's not working out.
Yep. And that's what happens to Kyer Elam.
Yep.
That's what happens to players like that. He's got the intangibles we like. He's got the physical we like. He's got the size, that kind of stuff. But when you see him in your system, like, oh man, we can't do nothing with that. We ain't got nobody on the team that plays man.
Right.
So we can't have this. And I think if you're talking about a team where you have Kincaid, you got Knox, you got Zach Davidson, you have another guy from, where is he from? I forget. He's from a small school, Montana or something like that.
Okay.
And the guy that tore his Achilles working out in private time. There's room for adjustment and improvement in the tight end room. Especially on the back end, because we're pretty much handing the rookie the third spot off the rip. But after that, you don't have, sorry, Tommy, cover your ears, the speed at tight end outside of Dawson Knox. That's the speed guy. Everybody, oh, he's not. Yes, he is. Trust me. Look it up.
4.5.
Kincaid was a 4.7. So yes, one is fast. He's just using the block. So I think, what? Stupid me. What did I say in the beginning of the show? Forget everything I just said.
Okay.
Because they aren't innovative. They're not.
The Bills?
Yeah, the offense is not innovative.
You sure?
I was presumptuous. Presumptuous. Why would I think they would use somebody in this fashion? Jordan Matthews converted. The guy, the quarterback that we had at UB, Tyree Jackson converted. Virginia Tech, the quarterback after Tyrod Taylor, he converted in Buffalo from a quarterback to. Why would we think we could do that? Why?
The kid that went and played for Washington and became a good tight end.
Yep.
What's his name?
I don't know his name, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah, it's 6'4" dude.
I have to look it up. But you go as far as Chris Manhertz. You go as far as Gates, guys that didn't even play football.
Yeah.
But look at him. Manhertz been in the league like 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an old head in the league right now. Yeah.
It's just disheartening me when you get these guys. You get this young guy. This if you had, well, I shouldn't even say Chan Gilly, but because he looked old and he was, he looked like he was staunch and this and third, but he was innovative. When you get this Joe Brady guy in that work with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Jefferson, you're like, oh, let's do it. And you see that. You see the same thing over. Logan Thomas said you see the same thing over and over and over again. I just want to see somebody converted for the good. Like you said earlier, it's McDermott. Why would you expect innovation? I said, stupid me.
Right.
Stupid me.
Tommy says, I think Joe Brady definitely needs to be more creative on offense and understand his players' strengths and use them on offense. See, here's the thing. I don't think it's necessarily a situation where Brady isn't being creative. I think what we're seeing now is the best version of Joe Brady. It's one of the reasons why I truly believe if the Bills were to ever get rid of Sean McDermott and keep Brady, I think Brady would be just fine as a head coach. When you look at what he's doing on this offense or with this offense and with these players, and you see how he's able to create a passing game that works as well as it does, while still giving Sean McDermott everything he wants in terms of efficiency on offense, running the ball control, efficient throws, you know what I mean? Like everything being, close to the line of scrimmage, no turnover. He severely decreased, not severely, but like greatly decreased Josh Allen's turnovers. Like that, all of that in a nutshell is something Ken Dorsey couldn't do. Brian Daboll got tired of trying to give Sean McDermott what he wants. You know what I'm saying? So for Brady to be here and doing it and succeeding to the level that he is as a creative mind and an offensive coordinator, I think that speaks loudly for his skill set and his ability as a coach, because that's not easy when you got a guy just looking over your shoulder all the time and trying to make sure that you're running the ball, 20 times a game or whatever the number is. You know what I'm saying? He's got that on him. And I don't think people realize that.
No, I think he tells you without telling you, but he's not doing anything to do anything about it either.
Right.
He told you, direct quote. I'll just make it work with what I got.
Yep.
Right after the draft. In the same embedded where you see him in the back, not even close to the coach, not even close to the owner, not even close to the GM.
Looking like this.
Yeah. They making an offense and he in the back like like, yo, why? I was like, where's, because I remember I was looking for him, like, where's Brady? When they drafted Keon, I said, where's Brady? I couldn't even find him forever. I'm like, oh, he's way back there. Why is he not closer when they're making this? What do you think? What do you want to do? And the fact that he wasn't like, yes, when they got it, that tells you what you need to know.
Yeah.
And this is no slight on Keon. This is no slight on Keon. That's not where I'm going with this. But it's just the fact that when he says, I'll make do it what I get, it's everybody eats nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
That's his thing. Everybody, it's just mindset. No, man. What? No 34, no 35-year-old, no 36-year-old talks like that.
Right.
It's just a mindset. No, we don't even know that word. That's not even our vernacular at this age. Well, I'm 41 now, but it's starting to introduce itself. But but I think is if you really peel back what he's doing and watch him, there are aspects of this that he likes. Obviously, he loves James Cook because there's an interesting correlation with his uptick in carries when Brady takes over. Also, he likes letting Josh Allen do what Josh Allen does. He trusts him.
Yeah.
And we know for a fact that Josh Allen's deep ball isn't what people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a strong arm. Absolutely. But it's not accurate.
Right.
And it's not going to be 80-90% like people say. Well, I know that. But you're hitting at like 16 to 20%.
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna get it done. Then when we were talking to Dorothy about why is it that you slandered whoever it was, but you don't slander Diggs for that? Because Diggs shouldn't have been in that position. Same way Kincaid. When did you see Diggs catch a ball that season like that?
Exactly.
Not one.
Exactly.
He didn't mail it in. They changed the offense. Yep. And he was like, I don't do screens. And we saw he caught him and did nothing else because he's just catching it and going down.
Yep.
At that point in his career, he didn't make plays after the catch. He was like, I'll get you, I'll juke. If you don't fall for it, I'm going down.
Right.
That's what he did. So, I mean, when they throw a deep ball to this guy, he's like, I did this back in 2015. Oh, he's like, a decade ago, I would have had it. A decade ago, it was mine. And you look at Kincaid God. The same way. Kincaid, I called it out on the show. Every time they threw that ball, it died. Kincaid couldn't track it, and he's falling down trying to come back to the ball. Yeah. So what did you see on that last play? The same thing. And you wonder why. I said Kincaid shouldn't have been in that position. That was Dawson Knox if nobody else.
Yeah. That
was Dawson Knox's play if nobody else. But, they want to blame James Cook for the pressure, all this. And this is a novel idea. I saw Kyron Williams, who they say is a better blocker. He's a guy, he's going to get paid if he hasn't already.
Mm-hmm.
And they're look at his pass protection. You know what he did?
What?
He chipped the defensive end into the tackle and then went on the route. He didn't stand pat and block anybody. He threw his shoulder and went on his route. That's the same thing James Cook does.
Yeah.
And then Joe Marino backs up and says the Bills don't even use a blocking running back. They don't even use them.
Right.
So what are we doing?
Smart money says, why use a pass blocking running back when you can send him on a route? And Josh Allen's going to get out of there anyway.
Yep. Get that little chip. That's a clear out.
That's it.
That's a clear out, especially on the blitz, because that was a clear. Boom.
If anything, so schematically, having a running back run a route is so much better for a scrambling quarterback in general. Why? Because you almost force a defense on those plays to play man. If you don't get a guy following that running back, he is in a lot of space with a lot of yardage ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get a guy over him. So if you're going to play man and make sure you cover whoever flares out of the backfield, you got a lot of backs turned to Josh Allen for him to just take off and run.
Take off and go.
That is that's Josh Allen's wet dream.
Yep.
Is for him to have those situations to just take off and run with everybody's back to him. Right? But that's the value of having a running back run routes consistently on passing downs.
And you know what's funny?
What?
You know, his last 8 games of the season that Brandon Beane lost as the greatest of all time.
Uh-huh.
James Cook, 12 targets, 12 receptions, 127 yards, 1 touchdown.
100% catch rate.
100% catch rate.
Hands don't look so bad now, do they? This is just what the numbers are saying. For all these stats that people keep throwing at us about what Cook ain't and when this and that, the numbers speak for themselves, right? But here's the thing. The context of the conversation also backs that up, because it's not just about stats; it's about the key moments. And what do you see James Cook doing in those key moments when he's getting the opportunities in space and running those wide screens or running those, you know what I mean? Like he's getting and he's producing, and he's making big plays when it counts. It's not just the numbers saying that he's good and you don't really see it on the field. Christian Benford. But
had to do it.
Here she comes. I'm sorry.
Here she comes.
I gotta keep it real, man. I gotta keep it real. That's what it is.
Laura's texting Dorothy right now.
Yeah. but again, to bring it back to what we said at the beginning of the show, we are here to present this information. You don't have to take it as the end all be all. What we would hope is that you don't take your stats and throw them at us as if they're the end all be all. Mm-hmm. Context plays into every conversation, and at the end of the day, the truth is somewhere in the middle of what you think and what we think.
Yep, and I'm glad Walter said that. I don't get why we have to pretend like pre-injury Kincaid last year looked any different. It didn't. You know why? And I spelled this out for you guys. She said Dorothy activated. If you look at what Kincaid did in his 70 plus catch season, it was all intermediate. It was all over. It was all short.
Mm.
But if you look at what he did last year, they took away a lot of the shorts and made him go long. They made him go down seams. They went to see if he could do it. He couldn't.
Right.
But we drafted him. Like you said, they see what you can do and not what you can't do.
Yep.
But they didn't do that with Kincaid because if you look at him at Utah, it's the same thing. All intermediate. He was not used as a deep threat. I don't know who told him he was.
The Bills is just trying it.
They said, you know what? Try it. Didn't work. Try it. Didn't work. Yeah.
I you know what? I could even see that if they were using his routes to clear out space for Knox underneath, but they never threw it to Knox.
Nope.
And here's the other thing that I think we all forgot. Josh doesn't throw to tight ends in general.
No,
he just doesn't. I don't even think it's that he doesn't like tight ends. It's that it's I don't know. Maybe it's not sexy. Maybe it's just not as productive as he wants it to be. I don't know what it is. I'd have to ask him. You know, when I get a chance to meet him, I probably will. Why you don't like throwing tight ends, man? What's going on with that? But anyway, the numbers will show he doesn't throw to tight ends that much at all. Right. So that was the other frustration over the investment in Dalton Kincaid, on top of the fact that he didn't really fit what a 12 formation needed in a tight end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think from that perspective, it's like, okay, him running the longer routes, maybe that was for Knox, but then you combine that with, well, Josh don't even throw to Knox. It makes even less sense. Right.
He said Kyle Pitts available. No, I'm not falling for it for the 6th year in a row. Not doing it. Kyle Pitts is dead to me.
He's scarred, bro.
Fantasy, he is dead to me. I keep doing it. Oh, Kyle Pitts, this is his year. Nope. Just give me Claypool for that.
Yo,
you do the same thing.
What was funny is when you took him 2 years ago, bro.
Mm-hmm.
When you took him, I was tight because I was showing up. I was like, man, Kyle Pitts gonna do it this year. And you took him. I was like, damn it, Keyshawn, you know something I don't, and you gonna get so many points off of this dude. And he did nothing. And I just felt terrible. I felt so bad.
I felt terrible. Yeah, no, I was tough. Average 14 yards per catch. What was his depth though? Come on, Roy. Give me what I'm asking you. I don't care what his yards per catch was, because that could be yak.
Mm-hmm.
What was his depth? Because I can tell you that.
Average depth of target.
Average depth of target. It went way down or went way up last year.
What, Roy, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Wow, if we're talking about wet dreams, I got a story for you. Well, holy cow.
Hold that for the next show, Roy.
No, don't hold that for any show.
Whoa, I was going to say it again. I'm going to say it again after that. Hold it for the next show, Roy. Hold that thought.
Hop in the Discord chat and you can tell whoever you want.
I actually read that. Read that. But what I would like
bring that into my personal life, I don't want to see that.
Right. We're not talking about wet dreams. We're talking about wet drinks, though. Reed's tea.
Yeah, got to.
Reed's tea is 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, 2 parts healthy. Why? Because the UV rays are tearing your ass in half outside. That's what you can expect when there are 4 ingredients. I don't drink tea, but let me tell you, there's a good drink right there. What you doing? Head to Reed's. Get yourself a supply of the good stuff. The UV blocker. Why would you do that? Get you a case. You won't be disappointed. What do I know? See for yourself. Reed's tea. Click the link in the description below. Use the code PostPodiumPodcast to let them know who sent you.
All right. That means it's time for us to jump out the window. Look, if you've enjoyed everything you heard, or even a quarter of it, I don't know, who cares? At this point, though, we thank you for sticking with us. That greatly helps the show.
1,500.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all 1,570 y'all. Look, if you haven't done this already, if you're watching it, whatever platform you're watching us on, at this point, just give us a like. If you're following us on Twitter, give us a follow on Twitter. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a subscribe, a like. Hit the bell on YouTube. Whatever it takes, it's free.
Yeah, because we had a couple of shows that didn't make it to Twitter, and we missed you.
Yeah,
we really missed you. We did them.
Those are some good shows.
You can still go back and watch them, but I mean, it's not the same.
Right.
You don't have to find them, fiddle through stuff. Just subscribe.
Right.
It pops right up.
That's all you got to do. So, we will post the link for our YouTube channel in the... Matter of fact, you want to pull that up, you can probably go to the YouTube channel and grab the link right from there and post it in the comments before we end this. So with that said, thank you. And make sure you head over to our YouTube channel. If you want to support us for free, you can just like, subscribe, hit the bell, make that thing so that you can get notifications when we put out notifications. Like, we will be bringing back the Madden content. We stopped that for last week with everything that was going on. So we appreciate everybody's patience with that. We're working on press conferences this week, and we got to get all the Madden the games that we played edited, right? So here's the thing with that though. We are set 5 weeks away from training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot more games to play than just 5 weeks. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of fast forward with that. We're going to condense the season. I'm going to post videos from key games against key teams. And you guys can check those out. We'll have press conferences and stuff for that. But I think the most important part, the meaty part, is the playoffs, right? We all want to see what happens in the playoffs. So we'll see, how this Bills team can work things out. We've done a lot of overhauling. I think next year we're going to have about $43 million in cap space.
Yes, sir.
So a lot of change happening. But you got to be a member to check that out. So if you go to our YouTube channel, at Post Podium Podcast on YouTube, you can become a member and you can check out the content. You will also get access to our Discord channel, our Discord chat, and you can hit us up 24/7, ask questions, have conversations, post stuff. I mean,
whatever you like.
Yeah, whatever. We got 2 minutes. All right, so with that being said, I want to transfer over now to our merch page. Okay. If you go to, see if I can pull this up in 2 minutes. I don't even think I can do that.
I believe.
You think so?
I believe.
So we have Post Podium Podcast merchandise available on our merch page. And if you were interested in keys, if you're interested in keys, let him cook tea. Let me take it to the store. Let me take it to the store. I gotta get to the store. Wait, there's a store. Here it is. All right. Here's the shirt here, and we're gonna put it, bam, in red right there. Now we gotta share it. All right, there it is right there. Bam.
Let him cook. Let it happen.
All right, so this is Keys Let Him Cook shirt. We got a bunch of other merch on this page available. We got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got quarter zips, and we got mugs. If there's anything else that you want to see on this page, if you're interested in supporting in this way, you can. Other than that, our producer, Junie, my oldest son, has 2 channels now on YouTube. He has Babyface Assassin 21 Gaming on YouTube. That's his gaming channel. And then he's got Basketball Truth and Knowledge, which is his basketball podcast. Make sure you check him out on YouTube. Other than that, thank you everybody for checking us out. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
I have been 40th of Keys.
40th of Keys. All right, y'all. Producer about to fall asleep back there.
No.
All right, y'all have a great night. Thank you. We will see you all on Friday at 5:30.
Yes, sir.
Friday 5:30. Y'all have a great night.
Yep.